ladies and gentlemen, show number 112, live from the Cornwall Peninsula at the Driving Creek Railway and Pottery. Woo! Here we go. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Ooh, we don't know, but Paul, you might want to bring a painting and come show it to us. Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. You gotta jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go, everybody sing, ready? Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Oh, you gotta aim high and go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself. Everything will right itself. Life's a stream, so go ahead now, follow your dream. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go, all together now. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Ooh, I knew it, Paul. Can we talk to you on this show? Go get a painting and then we'll get you up here. Yes, do. Okay.
I gotta put my cheese in the
Go
fridge.
put your cheese in the fridge, get a painting, and then we'll give you a chance. Hi world, here we are. And in the Cornwall at the Driving Creek Railway. And Riccardo, would you please come join me on the stage?
Woo!
Hey Riccardo. You're first. You get to be hello. You're first. That makes you number one.
Oh, right.
Riccardo.
101.
You're 112.
112.
112. You're one from 112. Riccardo, where do you come from?
I'm originally from Italy.
Italy?
Yeah.
And how long have you been in New Zealand?
On and off for about 14 years, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
you and me both. Oh. So, were you a potter in Italy?
No, I was working in, doing odd jobs really. I was doing design work mostly.
Design work. Did you go to art school?
I did art school here in Wellington in New Zealand.
Oh.
And I was doing illustration work and art restoration because my mother's an art restorer. And then I went and decided to travel, do a bit of travel, and I went over to Italy because it felt like the right thing to do. And I sort of stayed there for 5 years, just wandering and finding odd jobs. And before I left this time, I was working in Rome and I was doing interior design.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh, very shishi. Yeah, that's interior design in Rome sounds quite important.
It was
it?
very much, it felt like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot
So,
of fun though.
when did you start doing pottery?
About a year and a half ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
and now you're the teacher.
I am the teacher.
There you go, rising up. So, where did you start doing your pottery?
I started in a place called Turamahahi, which is in towards Tauranga.
Oh,
in
and
Katikati.
like why? Are you...
I was, when I came back from Italy, I was here actually for a holiday and got stuck with COVID, like a lot of people did.
Yeah.
And
I got stuck right here at the railway.
Oh yeah.
They closed down and I was here for 6 months or something.
It was actually quite a nice time, eh?
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah, I enjoyed the solitude, sort of like time for myself, I guess. And I was working down in Tauranga, and I was missing doing something creative, so I came across this pottery and ended up enjoying it so much that I asked the old boy there if I could learn a little bit more, and he offered me a job. So it's kind of been ongoing ever since then. And
how did you find out about the Driving Creek Railway?
I actually, through the old boy that I was working for, he was working here about 15 years ago.
What's his name?
His name's Ross Benson.
Probably know him. Anyways, my guess is I met him. Anyways, moving on.
And
Ross.
Yeah, so when I finished working for him, I actually needed some equipment, so I thought that Driving Creek might have some old wheels, so I could start doing some teaching, and they just offered me a job instead, so they didn't have any wheels.
And so do you live here at Driving Creek?
Yeah.
And you teach pottery lessons to whoever signs up, right? Beginning pottery, or?
Yes, yeah, so we have 5 classes a day, and it goes for about an hour and a half, and typically people make maybe like 2 to 3 things,
Yeah.
depending on how productive they are, or how prolific they are, probably is the better word, and then that's it. And then we do all the firing and the processing, and then send it to them when it's all finished.
And like for yourself, like what body of work, what type of work are you trying to do for yourself?
Well, I'm still very much in the learning stage, so I'm exploring a lot. What I'm interested in is really working with the environment, the materials I can find around me. So a lot of my clay that I use and glazes that I use come from crushed up sort of rocks, and I've been doing a lot of experimenting with different materials to get different effects, and so that's really what I'm doing at the moment. But I still don't feel like I have enough of experience to sort of like fully describe what I'm doing. I'm still very much exploring.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you're a good teacher?
I hope so. I think most people have fun in my class, so yeah, I think that's the sort of like the best explanation I can give you.
And so before are you making dishware mostly, or what sort of pieces do you?
For myself, well, at the moment I've been really intrigued with handles.
Handles, yeah. I noticed you were making cups there.
Yeah.
And they take handles.
Yeah, so I don't know, that's just something I'm focusing on at the moment. But a lot of my stuff is production wear, sort of lots of cups and lots of bowls, and really like making bowls and vases, and yeah, and every once in a while I do some sculptural work as well.
And do you see yourself like being a potter into the future?
I hope so. It seems like something quite, it sort of aligns a lot with my values.
Like, what do you mean? What sort of value?
Well, sort of working at a slower pace,
Oh.
and something which is very tactile, and utilizing minimal waste, I guess. It's just sort of like everything in pottery can be sort of recycled back into itself. You can really utilize what's around you, and you're bringing what is like very what's the word, sort of raw ingredients into something which is like really beautiful, I find. And I've done a lot of sort of photography and painting and a few different things in my life, and it seems like pottery sort of combines everything together, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's great. I love it.
And do you think that a person can make a living, or we're not worried about making a living?
I think that's a really broad question.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you can be content with the very minimal, whether or not you're happy, but I think so. I'm happy now, and then if anything changes, then it changes for the better, I'm sure. So we'll see.
And you're selling some of your works now?
Yeah, I've got a few things we have a store here at Driving Creek, and so I've got a few things there, which has been doing well. And then we've had a group exhibition down at Haraki House, and I've sold a few things over there, which has been good. It's still, I guess at the moment it's just finding time to make stuff, and it's not really, and sort of juggling that with teaching. So I wish I had more time, really,
I know, how can you wish you had more time, because you live right here where you could theoretically be potting every minute. But it's hard. And that's still not enough, it's not enough. Oh my goodness. And do you feel, so you get off on an idea like handles,
right?
And so then you just practice different handles for a while?
Yeah, well, I guess so. I'll make a few different cups with a few different handles, and until I get like the practical sort of understanding of the handle, and also something that feels like it comes to me organically rather than something that I've seen a few times before. Or I have lots of people that I admire and I'm influenced with, but there's also something nice about sort of like progressing past that stage where it feels like it's really got your touch, and that's kind of what I'm sort of trying to, or developing at this stage anyway.
And how many cups you reckon you have to make before you get a grasp on
I
handles?
don't know.
1 million, right? A million.
Yeah, well, it could be, the ones that I make today or this week won't be satisfactory, but will be different to the ones I make. I think that's probably the right word. It's just going to be different.
Different, yeah.
So whether or not I look back on it with fondness or just like regret. But,
And so interior decorating, that was fun too. Did you like doing that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great boss. She was about 74, and it was just me and her, and we'd just spend most of the time roaming around Rome and drinking coffee, and then the rest of the time would be really hard work. We'd be renovating people's homes that we're trying to sell mostly, and we had some pretty big clients as well, and so we saw some houses that you don't really get to see. And I've always been sort of like I've always enjoyed stepping inside other people's houses and just kind of like having a bit of a nosy, I think. Yeah, it's always a bit of an insight into.
And so when you were doing that, I guess you didn't think one day you'd be teaching pottery.
No, not at all.
Life just rolls on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I sort of like stumbled upon that job as well, so it was just like a bit of an easy kind of like flow-on effect.
Yeah. There you go. And where's your family?
I've got family up in Auckland.
Yeah, so there.
My immediate family's there, and then the rest of my family's in Italy.
Italy. Okay. Well, there's people close by. Can you? Is there anything you'd like to say about potting or?
I don't know. It's I guess I'm glad that there's been a bit of a resurgence in pottery over the last couple of years.
Yeah, there has, hasn't there?
And people really sort of stepping sort of off the treadmill, or sort of like slowing down a little bit and observing, and like getting to a little bit more familiar with that sort of tactile, sort of nature of things. And I guess I'm grateful for it. I think it's kind of like beautiful because it's brought me to it, and I think other people really appreciate it as well. So that's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say about it. Well, thank you for saying it to me. We've had a train start up in the back for those of you that are hearing the sound, because there's a railway here, along with a pottery. You could be a train driver.
I could be, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any desire to drive a train?
Not at this stage. No. Not enough time, I think.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and I'd like to just give you a little. Here's $1 you can use to light a kiln with it, and this is just a little token of my appreciation of your taking time out of your day to just chat with me about what you're doing. Thank you. Yay! Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Next time you'll have to bring a pot to show us. Where's one of your pots? Are you going to bring a hand? You got one. You've got one.
Yeah, I did.
Come along. Come along. Look at this crazy thing.
Oh, this is just the.
Yay.
Just one of them.
Sit down and give me your name.
I'm Jordan.
Jordan, where are you from?
Australia.
Australia. How'd you find this place?
I don't know. Like
Magic.
And then I was like we had a very long lockdown in Melbourne, and I spent a lot of time going on pretend holidays on the internet, and I came here quite a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. And so
But how did you find it? You found it on the internet because
I think I was looking at residencies around Australia and New Zealand, and I've always done ceramics, so I was like, dreaming gets you through things. I was like, and then my friend Wanda Gillespie, who's a sculptor in Auckland, she was here, and she sent me a message saying, I really think it would suit you, and I'm like, that's weird.
Because you've been looking
yeah,
at
I already
that's
had.
the way magic works.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, but you know, it's only for people from New Zealand. She was like, no, I'll put in a word for you. And yeah, and then.
So how long are you going to be here?
Just under a month.
Just under a month.
Yeah, but I want to come back.
And how long have you been here now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And okay, show us what you're making here.
I'm making a series of arms that are a little bit distorted. This one's actually more.
May I touch it?
Yeah, of course, go for it. It's not fired, so it's a little bit fragile. But
so we call that green. And it's hollow, right?
It's hollow there, and
because it would blow up if it weren't. But the hand itself is not hollow.
It's not hollow, but it's got some little channels that go into the bits of the
from
where the
here,
thumb is.
like from here up, sort of poking, because this bit is a bit fat.
Yeah.
And so you have a little bit of a.
Yeah. Okay,
so you're making all these arms, and what are we going to do with them?
I'm having a show in November in Melbourne in a gallery called Mars, and it's a sort of underground space. Like there's a big, open, beautiful space upstairs, and then downstairs there's a space that I've always wanted to work in, and it's like just a long, narrow space, and along the walls will be all these different arms in different gestures, but kind of like maybe a bit. Some of them a bit nervous, or some of them embracing, or some of them like sort of pushing away, but also a little bit of humor in that, like that trope of the in horror with the wall of the arms, but then these arms just can't be bothered. Like they're not gonna rip your eyeballs out. They don't really want to touch you.
This one doesn't look like it wants to do anything bad to you.
No, it's just
sort
chilling.
Of like, it's like little arms. How are you going to mount them to the wall? Do you know
different ways. I'm going to build. I might weld some different little brackets, and I often look at museums and at the different sort of architecture that they employ to display things, and then sort of mess with that and see how they might. Sometimes they go on. Like sometimes I've mounted them on like metal poles where they just sort of stand up.
So you've done arms in the past.
Yeah.
Like this is a theme.
It is, but I break them all the time. So
you break. You mean your arms or the ones you built?
The ones I built.
Okay.
I've made heaps of them, but I reckon only 50% make.
Well, that's the way it is with pottery.
It is.
And do you ever make
vessels?
Cupware, or like just kitchenware, or you just do artware?
I make cupwares to test glazes or to give as gifts to friends, and I've been making some like things for my sister to make candles in and that kind of stuff, but it's not where
so
I
you're
focus.
Not interesting. It's interesting because some people are interested in making 100 cups with beautiful, and you're interested in making hands
and masks as well. Lots of masks. Like I've been making masks for about over 10 years and would have made hundreds of them, and with walls that are just covered in masks with lots of different distorted features and too many eyes or noses.
And then I guess if you have a whole gallery or a whole wall of them, I guess it gives you a feeling rather than just seeing one. So you're trying to convey some sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How artsy of you, darling!
I try.
Well, it's interesting, this idea of having a concept of something that you're trying to, a feeling that you're trying to transmit with your painting or your sort of lackadaisical hand out there. And how long have you been doing art stuff? Did you go to art school?
I did go to art school.
You went to art school.
I went to art school, and then I just kept making art.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I'm not making art ever again. I'm just going to make cups and do pottery. And then that lasted about 2 weeks. And I was like, they're all too circular.
Yeah. Do you feel like, people talk about, there's this message inside of me that needs to come out. Do you feel like that, or just?
I just need to be making all the time. My hands get itchy. And
I love making too.
I can't. Yeah, it's just and I've always been like that since I was a kid. So it's like it doesn't really matter if anyone wants it. It's
does it matter? Does it? I mean, do you sell some of your work?
I do sometimes. But like like I do a lot of collaging. I love collages. Like with a passion that burns.
Yeah, they're so fun.
They're so good, and there's just so many connections. And no one buys collages,
No. But you make them anyways. Do you have shows of them?
Sometimes, yeah. I've got, I do, I do. But they're funny things. Yeah.
Now, when you make these hands, I've noticed there's a little bit of she's got a little bit of lines on the hands.
Yeah.
Do you study palm reading to put? I mean, do you just put random lines, or do you put?
Most of them are based on my own hands because that's the closest hand that I have to reference. But, and sometimes I do take other people's hands and
try and look at them.
But my palmistry knowledge is pretty limited.
Yeah, me too. Some people are big into
I love it, and I've been to palm readers like multiple times in the same, and I'm very much believe like.
And they say interesting things to you that.
But in terms of like, leave it to the experts.
Leave the palm reading to the experts. And where were you going? So when you finish here, you'll fly back to Australia.
Yeah.
And bring these pieces with you.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? We can
I figured that out then.
Figure that out then. Yes.
I bought a second suitcase from an op shop that's like, it's an old, like what do you call it? Seventh-day Adventist preacher's bag.
Ooh.
And it's really like, and it's got lots of God things on it. So I was like, well, if there's one, he's going to look after she's going to look after my pottery, but it's really hard, so it goes in there, and then I've got another suitcase, and things will break. I think that's a good, like when you've been doing pottery for long enough, it's like, things break.
Things break all the time. I know. I was making these little creatures, and they were selling them in the shop and putting them up, and somebody knocked one over, and they were so upset. And I'm like, honey, things break. And my favorite dish, like James's favorite dish, he just broke it in there. And there's something. That's what happens with pottery. Break it and I mean, in some cultures, you smash everything you own at the end of the year and start all over. And we tend to be more clingy. And if we've made it ourselves, then
I'm not clinging to the
you're
things
not
that I
clinging.
make.
No. She's just like it's the making that's important.
Yeah.
Huh. And when you have a show, you have to plan these in these galleries. You plan them far in advance to get room in the gallery.
Yeah.
And then you have to produce some work to fill it. Do you feel pressure?
Yeah,
a little bit. You got to get it done.
Look, this year I've got 4 shows, which is way too much. Well, it's not too much. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. But like normally it would be 1 or 2.
Yeah, and so the work that you show in the first show, you don't want to carry it to the next show. No, you got to have brand new work. Yeah, you got to save some good ones for the second show. Or just make the biggest ones. Yeah. Make the biggest ones.
Yeah, and they're all different. Like some are in community spaces, some are commercial spaces. It's
there's a different type of
type of work.
Well then, what else can you tell us about art or life or hands or yourself, or do you have any messages you care to? Are people saying, go get a job? Why are you doing this, Jordan? What are you bothering? Go get a job.
I have a job.
Oh. Okay. What's your job?
I'm an art technician. So.
And where are you an art technician?
At Monash Uni.
At where?
At a university, in an art school. Yeah.
Oh well, that's a great job.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So everyone. Yeah. You've got to do other things to support yourself. Well, many of us do.
Yeah. Right. I know some people there don't need to be. They got whatever they want, and other people need to.
Yeah. I don't have a message for just do it. Do what you love.
Yeah.
Figure things out as they come along.
Yeah, it's so interesting because when I find myself talking to people like you, and other potters, it's just this sort of I don't know. I just been drawn to do this stuff, and that's not really what society is telling you. It doesn't say follow your heart and do what you want because it's important. And I guess
we have to fight against that. It's a constant battle. And New Zealand's awesome. Like New Zealand's got is a really supportive, creative place.
Oh, you think it's different than Australia? Yeah. I wonder why. Do you have any idea why?
Well, probably because I've just been in Driving Creek that helped.
Yeah, this place right right here.
Yeah.
This place
No,
right
but
here.
Wellington was
supportive.
awesome too. Like Wellington's really vibrant.
And I wonder what do you think that I wonder if it's like the government supports more?
Yeah,
or,
I think so.
Yeah, and then makes it feel important.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting, yeah, because I feel like here there are a lot of potters and weavers and you go to any market and there's little bits that people are making.
Yeah.
And so it's valued. All right, you all pipe down up there. You're next, Paul. Oh my God! Sometimes you gotta. We need a security guard around here. I'm always happening too. Well, Jordan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking a minute to, to talk to me about what you do, and I hope that you feel all right. How are you feeling? Yeah, no, you were a little nervous, but hey, it's good, and it's good to get up and speak about what you're doing, and I really appreciate
what you're doing. So,
well, so there we are. So, yeah, good luck with making your hands, and we'll be friends on Facebook from now on. Okay. So I will see your parts, and I love the fact because I did pottery and I wasn't doing any cups and stuff. I pretended like I didn't know how to use a potter's wheel. Yeah. Nobody ever
everything's so round.
Nobody ever asked flat out whether I could do it. They just assumed I couldn't. And I didn't touch it. I'm like nope. And building things by hand, sculptural things. And I think that what happens is sometimes you can get into this mindset if I make cups, I can sell cups. Yeah. And then I'm making a living from my art. But then you're not really, because you're just making cups and you'd really rather be making hands. So make more hands. That's my theory. Yay. Thank you so much. Hey, before you go, I'm going to give you this little flower.
Oh, thank you.
This is just a small token.
That's
beautiful. You can use this to light a kiln, or it's $1.
Thank you.
$1 for your time and a little flower. So just because I really do appreciate your taking time and stopping what you're doing to come talk to me. So yay, thank you so much, Jordan. I really appreciate you. Yay, I'm so glad
what you're doing.
Yes, what you're doing. It's so cool to talk to people. You just never know what people are going to get up to. So yay, thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Yay, I will. I think I'm gonna sing a little song, and then we're gonna get Paul up here. Okay, this is a little song that was written. This is the Driving Creek Railway, and there used to be a place called the Driving Creek Cafe just down the road. And the first year I came to Coromandel, I was at the Driving Creek Cafe, and on the day I was leaving to go down to Wellington to give a talk on gardening, we all went to the beach and wrote this song. So the DC Railway is when I sing about that, I'm talking about this place right here. The cafe is no longer in existence, but anyways. There's a woofing girl at the Driving Creek Cafe. Her name is Laura. Tomorrow she's going away. She's headed south the windy Wellington way. But we all know she'll be back one day. There's a Kiwi breeze blowing on Golden Bay, and the Potikawas begin to sway. The sunset swimming, I'm feeling fine. Oh, I'm feeling fine by the firelight on Coromandel time. By the firelight on Coromandel time. And up the hill at the DC Railway, the Pottery boys, they're playing with their clay. And Tim's in the shed, is he smoking ganja? IRA. There's a Garden of Eden, and we're picking plums all day. The Kiwi breeze will blow on Golden Bay, and the Potikawa begin to sway. The sunset swimming, I'm feeling firelight on Coromandel time. By the firelight on Coromandel time. Yeah, Coromandel time is like when you get there. It's kind of like island time, isn't it? Is there any comments that we need to address on the... Okay, perfect. Paul, darling, would you be so kind as to join me?
Can I give you a clap for that song?
Oh, we'll give it a clap for that one.
That was beautiful.
Oh, it's a good little song. Tim used to always get mad. He said, you can't sing that, smoking ganja. We don't smoke at the railway.
Yeah.
No, but it did rhyme. You know, that's why. It wasn't, you know, sometimes you take artistic liberty. Doesn't mean anybody was actually
So
smoking.
good to see you.
It's delighted
again.
to see you, and I hope your family is thriving.
Oh, gee.
I'm sure they are.
Kiwi
So-
breeze and Coromandel time.
Yes,
Nice
that's
lyrics.
it. Yeah, we sat down.
Golden Bay, that's the one down the track.
That's what we call it, Bare Bum Beach. Sometimes. Ah.
Have you made it, Beer Bum Beach?
No, I didn't make it, but I generally, that's why I love it, because you can go down there and you don't, like, I love a bathing suit until it gets wet. And then you got this dumb wet bathing suit you got to kind of carry around the rest
Well,
of
it's
the
just
day.
a suit then, isn't it? It's only a bathing suit when you bathe in
Bathe
it.
in it, yeah, and then it's just a wetsuit or the plug. And so I like Bare Bum Beach because you go down there in your clothes, you get in the water, get out of the water, you dry yourself off, put your clothes back on, and you don't have to carry this like bag of wet crap. And I will tell you that women's bathing suits take twice as long to dry as men's bathing suits. I am serious. Next time you're at the beach with your family and your girls, and you got your board shorts on and they're dry, go
I'll
touch
take
your
your
girl.
word for
Yeah,
that.
go touch your girl's bathing suit and see. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even, or even by the time you get home.
This is just an experiment
Yes.
for Lauren, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not feeling you up. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to feel this fabric. But yeah, go check on the line. Yours will be
Okay.
dry in
All
10
right.
minutes, and 2 days later, theirs are still sopping wet.
Beer Bum Bay then, eh?
Yeah, so I recommend Bare Bum Bay to everyone. I don't know if they, I mean, now that the Coromandel has
Busy again.
gentrified, maybe we don't bare bum anymore.
Now, who's going to stop you down there?
So they're going to have to catch me first, and I'll be slippery.
Yeah.
Anyways, how did you end up here?
Oh, here is in
And
Coromandel or Driving Creek Railway?
Well, maybe a little of both, you know. Or,
I've always had a soft spot for Coromandel for all my life, really. And then about 4 years ago, life simplified a little bit with big kids moving on. And so we came up here to give it a go.
and it's worked.
It's beautiful.
And were you doing a lot of painting?
No,
Before?
no. I used to paint when I was young, and then life kind of got busy and in the way a bit, and I didn't give it the priority it needed. And then sort of start clicking over a few laps around the sun and think, ooh, I better get back into that.
Mm-hmm.
And so a change of scene, and a quieter pace of life just meant I could be more disciplined and dedicate some time to it. So just scratching that itch again.
Scratching that itch again. And it is interesting that, shall we look at one of your paintings here?
Well, this is the only one I've got
Okay,
here.
this
Do
one
you
is-
know, up in my little studio there, I've got your marvellous alien creature. You need to take a...
Yeah,
show
we should have
them
shown
what
them
that looks
around.
like.
Yeah.
It sits
Yeah.
there right beside me going, you keep busy,
Yeah,
boy.
keep
It's
busy.
like you're peering over my
Yeah,
shoulder.
She'll,
So this is
I called her Jolene.
Jolene.
Jolene,
Oh!
watch out, she'll eat your man. That's what I tell people. Because you know, she got
I
those great
love
big
that song.
animals. Yeah.
Do you ever sing that?
No, I don't. But I had listened. Old Ian Riggles had done a mashup of Jolene and some house beat, and then I heard it and it sounded really cool. Cause
That real
Riggles.
slowed down one.
Yeah.
And it's it's her voice,
Yeah.
and it's really
Yeah.
groovy,
Yeah.
and that plucking guitar just
Yep.
slows right down, and it's just got
So
the
I had
best
just heard
groove
that,
on.
and then a little while after, somebody said, "Oh, well, what's her name?" And I said, "Oh, Jolene." And because
Yeah.
she's got those big mandibles, you know, like.
Oh, I love it.
So you
I
better
love her
watch
even
that.
more up
Yeah,
there.
now. All right, let's see
So
this thing
this
that we're
is
working
what
on.
well, I haven't really been working on it for a while, but this is,
A sort of representation.
I don't know what
of
the
your
camera's
work.
doing there. That's Marlin Williams.
Who?
Marlin Williams, New Zealand singer.
It's a New Zealand singer called Marlin
He
Williams.
is incredible. Yeah, he's kind of a bit like a modern day young Kiwi version of, don't want to do a disservice to anyone here, but he's got this croonery Roy Orbison-y, Elvis-y kind of voice,
Mm. And he's singing songs that he wrote? Or?
Yeah, yeah. With these really unusual, sometimes dark, creative lyrics that are just, he's mesmerising. My daughters and Fiona, my wife, went and saw him on
Were they wearing
Friday night.
Were they wearing wet bathing suits? No. So you all went to see him?
Yeah, just the other night. I've seen him a few times, and you just get spellbound. You ever listen to Marlin Williams?
Well, I will now. Now I see you're painting on board here. What is this? It's called. What do you guys?
It's just
call it?
MDF. Yeah,
MDF?
6mm MDF. Just for you can buy it quite cheap, and you prime it all yourself. Cut it to sizes you want. You can. It's easier just to have a go at a painting and not worry about the outcome so much. If you buy a canvas, it's it can be, you can get a little bit sort of better do a proper painting, because this is a big fancy canvas I've bought, and that stifles what you do sometimes. So just being a bit freer, just to go, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, turn it around, paint on the other side. It doesn't really matter.
How interesting. So you feel like if it were a canvas, you'd be more.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's something about and the smoother surface and
right, because it seems to me that you're really that the smooth surface of this is serving you with your style.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is strange, because since being at Driving Creek and just doing some practice paintings on sheets of pine, like from the wood firing, the big planks of pine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I always have a paint on that, and the grip and the texture on a with a big coarse
piece of wood,
brush. Yeah. So I might prime it or whatever, but there's this grip, and I've loved that texture, and you really can get in there, and you got to push the paint around. So I'm just exploring, really. Like, I've been back into it about 4 years and just seeing what happens, not trying to let a thought process that says, oh, it has to be this way or it has to be that way. Just go with it and paint what you enjoy painting.
Well, I really enjoy your paintings. I think the color is good, and they're very like, I don't know this particular person, but you did that lovely painting of Stuart the pig fella. Is his name Stuart the pig fella?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, pig man. And it's just like, when your paintings are very representational. Like, it's easy to find, it's easy to recognize the person, but then this guy's got blue all over his face, but you can still recognize him. So you're not exactly, what's the word? You're not realistic, but
well, I think when I got back into it, I just assumed I'd pick up where I left off close to 25 years ago, which was more representational realism. But I haven't got the stomach for that anymore. Like, I did Stu's painting, but it's not the way I want to paint.
Oh, really?
That was one of the first ones I'd done, and since then I've been just trying to loosen up. That's why I've done those sort of more caricature ones, like of the wood firings. Oh, you might not have been here. Did you see those? Fred and Henry at the firing?
I've seen those online.
That kind of loose. A bit more looser and exaggerated, and just more visually interesting to look at, I think. Like, you don't want to just step up to a painting and just admire a technique. You actually want to see some movement,
because you
and
can
brush
take a photograph of it and put that up there.
So I'm just learning. I'm just scratch the surface.
What kind of paint are you using? Is this
oil?
These are oil pails. And
it just gives you time. I just have time just to relax with it and not worry about having got quarter of an hour before it's going to dry. I've got to blend those tones. It's like, no, just take your time. Coro time.
Coro time, right? That's oil paints for Coro time. And are you mostly working about this size, or all different?
Nah, all sorts. This big to, you've seen the big ones, like as big as James.
Yeah. And
I like the bigger ones, but they they're just a different. It's more. I think it's the movement that I like.
And so, before you pick this subject, you spend a lot of time agonizing over it, or just when you're ready to do a painting, there's people all lined up?
There's 20 paintings in my head that want to be painted.
Oh.
And I don't agonize. No point agonizing over it. I just sketch, and my sketch, just keep drawing and drawing until it feels like it's ready to move on to one. And I like to have a few on the go at once, so you can step into the one that you're ready to work on. Sometimes they might need to dry, or I'm a bit over that, I just need to do something a bit different. And that's just the way I've enjoyed it. And I think I've got to listen to that little, sounds a bit, but that little voice where you go, what do I actually want to, what do I want to step into the studio and spend the next 5 or 6 hours doing? There's no point doing stuff in there that's a chore.
Yeah.
I know you've got to be disciplined and do stuff and but if there's a painting that you're actually going, oh, I really want to
see how it,
I want to see what happens there. And then sometimes you feel like you're ready to, and sometimes some paintings are a bit more challenging than others too. You've really got to be on your game and go, right, I really want to capture.
I know, it's really, it's difficult to, it's easy to paint a head, and it's a whole other thing to paint a head that actually looks like the person you're trying to paint it, and that's a skill.
Yeah, see, I painted James a year or so ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that was, I'd sketched him in my sketchbook a number of times and just kept drawing him, so I was familiar with what I was appreciating in his face and his gorgeous beard. Have they seen your gorgeous beard?
Come around in front of the camera, let's see. Show the camera your gorgeous beard. This is the...
oh, there's an eye candy there. And then one afternoon I was just going, right, I just had a little A3 sort of panel, and I just want to, and I just put it down, and it just happened.
Yeah.
It's like I was ready to, and I sort of stood back and thought, oh, sheesh.
How'd that happen?
Yeah. Well, which is weird, and sometimes you'll go in there and go, I don't even know which end of the brush to hold. But you just got to get in there and go, have a go.
There's this story about this emperor. He comes to the artist and he says, I want best artist in town. He says, I want a painting of a fish. And the guy goes, well, you come back in a year and I'll give you your painting of your fish. And so every day he paints a fish and throws it away, paints a fish, throws it away. And at the end of the year, the emperor comes back and he says, well, where's my painting? And the guy goes, right. And he pulls out a piece of paper and he draws him an amazing fish. And and hands it to him. The guy goes, well, if that was all you're going to do, why didn't you do it a year ago? And he said, well, I had to learn how to paint fish first.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly right. And I think that's the looking, And I think I've appreciated time to just sit and look and sketch and draw and just put stuff down.
And just drawing isn't enough, because I see you in your sketchbook and your drawing, but that doesn't satisfy you.
Sometimes, but not always. Sometimes I want to take something through to colour, and I want it to be more of a statement, I suppose. But unless you do lots and lots of drawings, you're not going to feel confident going into the painting. So you've got to put the time into. But this is just my instinctive learning. I'm just finding my way, and I'm just enjoying the privilege of being able to.
Yeah, and so how did you end up at the railway? Because you were up in the Cornwall.
Oh, yeah. So just got to know a few people around town, some that worked here, and then did a class with Laurie one day and found that there was some space. At home I didn't have space to paint, so I was like, hey, can I rent a little space? And one thing led to another, and they've allowed me to be up here and do my thing, and I feel exceptionally blessed.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I get to meet people like you and all the residents that come and go.
And when you go somewhere where the point is to come here to make art, it's a whole lot easier to come here and make art, because that's what's expected of you.
Yep. It's just that connection. You just hear, and I think the pottery world has fascinated me. I can't help but have a go and play, but it's just a thing on the side. Painting is what I'm drawn to do. But I'm just a bit mesmerised by this pottery culture, subculture. I don't know, just the wood firings and the collaborative nature of it all, and the way people will come visit and stay, and they just want to, and I'll have play at home, and we'll just sit out on the deck and just do stuff, and everyone just wants to have a go, people just like to make something, something theirs, and it's this tactile remembrance and this thing that, even if it, they might think, oh, it's not looking good or whatever, but they love it, it's the thing that they have made, and then even if it's not the greatest thing, as soon as you chuck it in a wood fire and then it's got this extra little je ne sais quoi that you're going, whoa, and it's just great holding and feeling these cups that residents make, and I buy cups of different people, so I've got this collection of different cups from residents that have been here, and then you just get up and your mind goes back to, you have favourites for a while and move on to another one, and then you go back to it.
Yeah, I was staying with a friend, and he had 2 cups that Petra had made, and we'd have our coffees, and the one that was my favourite cup, turns out his cup was shaped differently, and it kept the coffee way warmer, and I was like, oh, this one's prettier, but that one works better, in terms of keeping it.
That's what amazes me. These potters come in, and a cup is a cup, and every potter can somehow add their own signature feel to it, and it's like, and that amazes me that they can, you look at it and go, oh, that's a, that's Jess's cup, or
Yeah,
that's
you can.
Martin's,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and you're going, for a relatively simple little vessel with a handle,
Yeah,
or without a handle,
yeah.
they impart something of their own, and it's just, I don't know.
And
I
now-
painted a little cup last year. I just
Oh,
thought,
you painted one. Oh,
yeah,
that's
there's a
interesting.
cup. It was so beautiful. I just want to paint the cup, and I just not on the cup. I did a painting of the cup, which was
Because that's, I guess, doing a still life.
Yeah.
Which is a little different.
yeah,
from
just a
doing
little
these.
still life homage to this beautiful cup. Yeah. That was a good.
And do you have a show coming up, or have you had a show recently, or doing a show, or?
Open studios is what.
Is
yeah.
where
So
people-
I've got to balance my day job with finding time to paint. So I'm making the most of downtime or quieter times, and then so open studio is a good target for me. Cornwall Open Art Studios
Right.
in October,
And then people
so.
come around, and they can, and they would come here. Is this
Yeah,
the open
well,
studio, or?
I used the gallery last
Oh,
year. It was my first time
excellent.
I did it, and it was like all of a sudden, like it was almost like take stock of the last 3 years and put all the work out and put it out there and go,
Wow.
okay, I've
Yeah,
actually
I bet it's
actually
beautiful.
done some stuff,
Yeah.
which felt really good that I've actually pulled my finger out and got on with it.
Yeah, and so you think you're going to stay with portraits? Because most of the paintings I've seen that you've done are sort of, they're people-centric. Even the one with Frederick by the kiln, there's the kiln and all. but it's-
Yeah, or scenes or situations, people in situations, sort of storytelling ones. I'd love to. I think in my mulling over, I've got a Thursday night session
Oh,
down
yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know, with Angus
Oh, we're
and
going
the
to go
bros.
Thursday. Are we going to have Thursday? Are they doing it this coming Thursday?
I don't know. Is it the last Thursday of the month?
Yeah, art and
suppose it
music
is,
night,
yeah.
last Thursday of the month. What time does it start?
I don't know. I
We
don't know
don't
if it's on.
It's got to be. I mean, it's the last Thursday of the month.
Well, mate, you just do it. Yeah.
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 Yeah, we'll
You
all be
drive
there.
it,
Yeah. Wow.
So
wow.
there's something about that that's quite magical.
Yeah, so
and
you
I
wanna
would love
try
to
and-
get some of that energy and craziness and the kitchen. The kitchen down here.
Yeah, it's a
There's
magical
something
place.
about that.
It is.
I did some sketches the other day of the light coming in and people sitting around that table. Like if that table could talk,
Ah.
if you could say, right, table, tell me what you've heard over the
Oh,
last
Lord.
50 years.
Oh Lord,
Wow.
so many, eh?
So yeah, I don't know. I got lots of things here.
The magic of it.
Mm.
And so, well, I really like that, everybody keeps talking about having a feeling to want to do something. And it's just so, sometimes on this show, I talk to like healers or, and I say, well, what are they like? Oh, I just get a feeling. And I'm like, what the feeling? What are you talking about? But I think that we are not taught to look or listen to our feelings.
Yeah.
And we're taught to, I don't care how you feel, get in the car, and so when you deal with artists and healers, they're much more open to just, believing their own feelings, and I think that's important in life.
Yeah, instincts, and go with your gut sometimes, And sometimes there are things that are perhaps a little more serious that can get in the way, but when you can go, no, I'll put that aside and I'll honour this feeling or instinct or pull
Desire,
towards
pull
something.
towards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to do it, and that's what I've enjoyed about the last few years of
and
being
your
environmental.
that people care. But it's not so weird here to
No.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're in a place where you get, like I remember one of the first big paintings I tried to do, that cartoony one. It was called The Bohemians, of the Karen and Josh and these people doing a residency here. And it was just a disaster. I just hated it. It was a disaster. It was my first 6 months of getting back into it, and I just I was so despondent. And so it was a great big canvas, like $800 for the canvas, whatever. I chucked it on the ground and I chucked terps on it and I rubbed all the paint off. The colours were I hadn't worked out the way I paint best. The colours were too thick and too heavy too soon, and built it up. Rubbed it all off. Get out of it. I didn't even want to see it so bad. I didn't want to see it.
And everybody's probably going, oh no, it's fine, it's fine.
No one was here. It was late at night up in the
okay,
thing.
just
And so I put it against the wall, just out of way for the next day to, prime up again or whatever. And the next morning, Caitlin came in and saw it. And it was just, she took a photo and put it on the DCR.
Yeah.
And said, that's what I love about this place. She was just so enthusiastic about it. And I'm thinking, what? Is there something in there,
Yeah.
And something about wiping all the colours down had stripped it back and had muted the colours. And it was like, okay, maybe. And I got back on the horse and finished it off.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was that impetus that there's something you know, getting that enthusiasm and encouragement from all the people around here. It's
Yeah,
just like,
because I think we can
wow,
be.
it's wind in your sails, eh?
Yeah, we can be pretty hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for taking time out of your painting to come and talk to us about it.
Honour and a privilege
No,
to
the
sit and
present's
chat
mine,
to you.
and here you go, my dear.
Ah.
Here's your.
I get
Here's
a
your
flower.
dollar.
Thank you. And I
Yeah,
get a dollar.
and
Is
a
that
dollar.
a real dollar?
I was going to say, I learned building a fire last night that our friend Pam, who's passed away, but she said that you've got to take the newspaper and roll it up and tie it in a little knot when you're starting a fire, and it will burn long and make the fire go. And so that's what made me. So you can either use it to start a fire or
Start a fire, right? Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Hey, so what are you going to make? Are you going to make some more stuff? Are you going to
Well,
get dirty hands?
if I'm invited, we have to, see where. Yes, I will hopefully do something somewhere, but I don't really know what the story is.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I'm gonna go talk to Frederick about it now.
Brilliant.
But I've had my turn here. I had a big long turn, so I kind of feel like.
And because of that long turn, I've got Jolene up
Yes,
there
that's right.
sitting beside me.
Well, and it's interesting because Jordan, she's like, oh, I've come, but I want to come back. And I think that every single person who does work here wants to come back. So I think I might have to get in line. All right, I'm going to take that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
My darling.
I really appreciate your time.
Oh,
I feel
absolute pleasure.
No, the pleasure was mine.
Right, I'm going to get these knees
Yeah.
up again. You're going to give me a push up
Yeah,
the
get
back.
ready.
Oh, there we
There
go. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take the man
And
crush
you out.
Marlin with me.
All right. Well, I'm going to sing one more song just out of.
Learn Jolene.
Yeah, Jolene, don't eat my man. For those of you that are on Patreon, we'll show you Jolene. Those of you that aren't on Patreon won't see Jolene. For those of you here in New Zealand, a bushel basket is kind of like a kete that you fill with stuff. I remember singing this song and people going, "What's a bushel basket, Laura?" And I'm like, it's a basket with holes in it that you carry things in. And I figure if you carry your troubles in a bushel basket, when you get where you're going, they might have all fallen out, the cracks. I don't jump freight trains when they roll by, and I don't get the blues, I'll tell you why. I go downtown if I want to smoke, and I'm treating life like a joke. I won't go sinning in my neighbor's yard, 'cause he's been a-working mighty hard. I go downtown, but I don't wear shoes, and Lord knows I'm not singing the blues. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, and carry my good times too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sun shine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sun shine through. I won't get cross if you smile at me, and I'll throw my troubles out to sea. I don't wear black or need a heart attack, 'cause we can be happy. How about that? I don't think much about what could go wrong, and I don't want to sing about it in a song. But I'll look at you and shake my head, 'cause Lord knows, James, some of them people would be better off dead. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too, at least that goat. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sun shine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sun shine through. Well, I don't see Saturn when I look at the stars, but I know it's out there, Lord, so's Mars. I don't think much about the evening news, and I don't want to cry the blues. I don't like ham, but I do like toast, and I certainly don't care who you hate the most. I don't care how it's always been done. What about if you gave in, but you still had a little song? Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sun shine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sun shine through. You gotta let the sun shine through. All right, people, don't keep your light under a bushel. We'll have another show in a couple of weeks, and there's the end of this one. We can finish this business. Show number 112, well done.